Alabama's Morning News. I'm JT. The Obama administration and what it's going to do to all of us if he gets back in there. Joining us now, let's talk the economy since that's one of the biggest things. Monika Hengesbach joins us now, financial services expert and a CEO at Decision Financial Services. Monika, welcome back. Thanks for being here.
Sure. Thanks for having me again.
All right. Before we get into the economy and what his policies are all about, let's talk about the debate. My gosh, it's on everybody's mind. And the aftermath over the weekend with the doubling down of the Democrats supporting Joe. Keep him coming. I mean, your thoughts on the debate and now the push to keep him in there.
You know, my thoughts on the debate was actually, it was pretty sad and very, very painful to watch. I actually had to turn away because I couldn't take a look at it anymore. I'm actually surprised that the Democratic Party is doubling down and wanting to keep Joe in there. You know, yes, I mean everyone's saying that afterwards when he was out there on the campaign trail, he was doing great. Well, of course he was. He wasn't under any pressure. He was just standing up there and he was talking to a group of people. Well, that's not the presidency.
Right.
Presidency is about pressure. You're going to get pressure from high-end officials across the world. And if you can't debate just somebody on stage, my fear is how are you going to stand up against political rivals and countries? Yeah,
it's time to take the keys away from Pop-Up. You know, it's just time, okay? And for Jill Biden, Dr. Jill Biden, by the way, to continue to say, let's go, you did so fine and dandy with answering the questions. It's like he's a kindergartner with his first coloring book. I mean, really, that's the bar? I mean, could you imagine if the bat phone rings and Joe has to get up at 3 a.m. and go to the Situation Room because something extremely serious involving the United States is underway? He wouldn't have a clue as to what to do or talk about and say.
Well, do you think Joe is actually going to be the one that's going to get out of bed at 3 a.m.
That's a good
and
point.
Make that decision?
That's a good point. Yeah. So this whole doubling down thing, I agree with you. But from Nancy Pelosi's lips to God's ears, leave him in there until November 5th because that's our greatest chance to have a change in the direction of the policies in this country and the man in the White House. I'm not sure that Joe Biden's policies are going to improve anything for the middle class, you know, if he is reelected or whoever's running the show behind the scenes. House prices mortgage rates are higher than ever. You look at groceries and rent and gasoline, the cost of health care. Trump's tax plan's about to expire, and, you know, that's going to be disastrous as, you know, Biden wants to raise taxes again. So your thoughts on if this continues?
Well, the one thing that I'm actually really concerned about is letting Trump's tax plan expire. There are some, when I ran just a brief scenario of a client of mine that was in 2016 prior to Trump's plan, they would have owed $39,000. When you implement, and that's middle class, okay, this is middle class family, self-employed real estate agent, 39. You put in all of Trump's tax law changes, the QBI deduction, which Biden has not talked about not expiring, their taxes was $16,000. That's a huge, huge difference, and that's the middle class. So my fear is that allowing some of these tax policies to expire is actually going to have an adverse reaction to the middle class. Now, I understand that Biden wants to increase taxes on corporates. Right now, they're at a flat tax of 21%. I think he wanted to go up to, 28, which is still lower than the 35. Historically what that happens is they start cutting staff,
sure,
right? And what's going to end up happening is once corporations pay higher in taxes, the ones that are hurt are the unskilled workers, the newly coming in generation. They're going to be let go because they don't have the skill set. So here we go. We're going to get the middle class cut. They're unemployed. They're hitting the unemployment line. So I don't see a win-win in here by cutting the taxes and raising the corporate tax rate.
Well, we've gotten a small dose of that already with California's Gavin Newsom policies in raising the minimum wage to an astronomical amount. The businesses only have one thing to do, You got to cut employees. You can't afford to pay the staff like that, which breaks down productivity, which breaks down quality, which breaks down every single element of the chain. And then here we are back again, driving inflation because of this. So this whole forcing things down people's throats, and like you said, when the tax plan goes away and Biden raises them, it's going to do the same thing to people. And small business, meaning companies under 500 employees in this country, are basically the engine of what keeps this nation moving. Big corporations certainly are necessary and employ a lot of people, but in the state of Alabama, 95% are small businesses.
Yeah, it's true. And historically, the middle class is the one that fuels the economy because they're the ones that buy the most consumable goods.
Right.
The wealthy, yes, they reinvest in bigger infrastructure or investment or capital investments, which plays a part in the economy. But it's really the small business owner that is employing the majority of the workers for the middle class that is fueling that economy. And they're already taking a brunt. I mean, I could speak on my own business. The fact that health insurance costs have risen, wages, they want higher wages because they can't support or buy groceries. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, you've got to cut down on consumable goods, necessities, food, gas, housing.
The basics.
And once you can get that down, that's going to fuel small businesses because they're not going to be forced to pay more, which then they pass their prices on to people. And it's just a vicious cycle.
Yeah,
we need to get out of that cycle.
We need a change in direction, that's for sure. Well, Monika, thank you for being with me. I appreciate your insight this morning.